Ghetto Bible Study. We're in Proverbs 10:16, and the title of today's message is Abundant Life. You're watching Ghetto Bible Study, a dope way to read the Bible. I'm Proverbs 31 mom, and today we learn how to stay alive when it comes to our resources, our work ethics, and how we can live a life that's pleasing to God with our money. And when we do that in exchange, we get to live an abundant life. Stay tuned, because abundant life, in my opinion, is not living paycheck to paycheck, living hand to mouth. That is not that. Does that sound like a life in abundance to you? Proverbs 31. The money that good people receive for their work keeps them alive. The key word is work. Faith without works is dead. Last time we talked about love of money, the evil part that is associated or affiliated with money. If we get a little bit deeper, when we speak about evil things that happen in relation to money, it's actually a form of worship. And you're worshiping the money god, which is called mammon. That's when people sell their souls. They are not who they normally are. They'll do anything for money. They die for money. They kill for money. They manipulate. They lie. You know, the list goes on and on. Today's message is talking about how money can bring life to someone. And in particular, when I think of life, I think of abundant life.
Abundant life.
And that's the life that God promises us when we believe in Him. So when it comes down to Christians and money, to have or not to have, I think it comes down to your heart. And if you're working and you're a good person, and especially if you're working for God or doing your work as for God, which means wherever you're at, whatever job you have, you're winning souls or telling people about Christ, then the payoff is abundant life. You work for this type of money, you get paid, and you really get to live. You should not be living paycheck to paycheck if you're doing this right. If you're checking off these boxes, like at work, I tell people about God, I've prayed for people, I witnessed to people, my testimony, the things that I've gone through is the stuff that we talk about instead of gossiping about somebody else or, stuff like that. Keep in mind, we're not perfect. But I don't steal from my employer. I represent God wherever I go, especially in the workplace, with the way that I act, with my attitude, with my mouth, the way that I talk, the way that I dress. I represent Christ, right? You're doing it 9 to 5 or whatever it is. You're doing it in the right way and honoring God. Then the payoff is life. Now, I cannot see you struggling if you're doing it this way. Because abundant life, in my opinion, is not living paycheck to paycheck, living hand to mouth. That is not that. Does that sound like a life in abundance? You think of the word abundance, that means like more than enough. It means like, generously, big, triumphant, great. Worrying about your next dime or your next paycheck, or the paycheck is gone before you even get it. That's not abundant life. So if that's where we are, that's what's great about Ghetto Bible Study and reading our Bible all the way through and fine-tuning and combing these scriptures so that we can evaluate our lives. And then if something is like kind of order according to scripture, then it's our opportunity to fix it. So how do we fix it? If we broke Christians, how do we fix it? Well, we look at our lives. What is God telling us to do? Are we doing it? When is the last time we witnessed to someone at work? When is the last time we prayed for someone at work? Are we stealing time? Are we tithing? Are we being good stewards of God's money? Are we returning some money to His kingdom, to His churches, so that they can help people and let our lives represent God in that type of way? Just go down the list and genuinely, if you're doing all of this stuff, then I just honestly, God is not a liar. I cannot see you struggling if we're doing all of this stuff. It's like the law of gravity. If you jump, you gon' go down. Gravity is gonna pull you down. So these words and these scriptures is the truth. So if God is saying you're a good person and you work in this scripture, which is saying then that money is supposed to generate life, then that's just what it is. But again, if not, and we're all sinners, and sometimes we're doing some things that we're not even aware of. So if you check off everything, you're like, okay, God, what am I not doing? Ask him, and he'll point it out. He'll point it out to you. You know, maybe last time he told you to bless that homeless person and you didn't. You know, maybe it ain't got nothing to do with that type of work. Maybe it got something to do with your spiritual work. Like God put you in a position to have money for a reason. Maybe it's to bless other people when you walk past them on the street, and he's putting in your heart to do it, but you're like, nah, I'm gonna use that on Subway, you know? So pray about that and ask God what it is, so that if you are not being a good steward of your money, you can fix that so that you can receive all of the life that comes along with this scripture. So, okay, now that's the good person, and that's the life version of money. But now we enter into the bad person. Well, the bad person receives punishment. So they can work their finger to the bone. They can hustle left, right, upside down, but they won't have any peace when it comes to that money. They won't really truly be living. They'll be caught in a trap. And I even say this for, like, I think of famous people, when you see their life story and you see what really happened, like all of the darkness that was associated with it, and all we see is the glitz and glamour and the gold, and oh, they're rich and they're famous and they got everything, but deep down they're miserable, or they're depressed, or they're in an abusive relationship. Maybe not necessarily with a spouse, but maybe with their family. They're being abused in some type of way, or by management. They feel like a puppet. They don't have a life. They have to do whatever their bosses tell them to do. So deep down, it's like, I'm not even a person. I am whoever media tells me to be, or whoever management or my stylist tell me to be for the day, or for whatever image is on the record. That's who I have. That's what I have to portray. And it's sad because they're not really living. Even though to us common folks, we think you got a lot of money, so you living your best life. That's not the truth. Bad people receive punishment, whether we see it or not. So what are we learning from this? We're learning, as long as our lives line up with God's definition of, money, not worshiping mammon, but worshiping God, and in return getting money for the work that we do, which is a positive thing. We're working in a positive manner. We're representing God at work. Then the outcome of that is life. And the other side of that is bad people, whether we see it or not, they actually receive punishment when they're not doing what they're supposed to do with their money according to God. So I don't know about you, but I learned something today. I learned that I want to be a good steward with my work ethics as well as with my time, so that I can live my best life. And if you learned that same message, go ahead and press the like button. Give this message a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, and pass this along to someone who needs to know the secret of really truly living. And all that is being a good person and doing your work in a way that's honorable to God. All right, everybody, y'all be blessed. Bye.